Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Who should Manchester United striker be? Edinson Cavani, Harry Kane or Erling Haaland? Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to keep Edinson Cavani at Manchester United for next season. Edinson Cavani was superb against Tottenham yesterday. His second goal was fantastic. It was a diving header and it was a lovely cross by Mason Greenwood. Edinson Cavani had a disallowed goal in the game. I disagreed with the goal getting disallowed. I think the goal should have stood. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was furious. The reason the goal got disallowed is because Scott McTominay's hand hit Heung-min's son in the face. But it wasn't intentional by McTominay. It was a good finish, by the way, from Edinson Cavani, and Paul Pogba played a part in that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has slammed Heung-min's son over the disallowed goal. And Jose Mourinho hit back at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer over his comments regarding Heung-min's son. Edinson Cavani played a part in Fred's equaliser because he was the one that had the shot, produced a good save from Lloris, and then Fred was there to tuck the rebound in. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say prior to the game against Tottenham that he's unsure over Edinson Cavani's future. Cavani's current contract expires at the end of the season, but we do have an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Now, Footballer Insider said not so long ago that Cavani is willing to take a pay cut to join Boca Juniors. He does mention that he's already got a verbal agreement with Boca Juniors, and Boca Juniors are willing to offer him a 3-year contract. We've already held talks with Edinson Cavani over his future at the club. Marcus Rojo has had conversations with Edinson Cavani over the Boca Juniors move. Marcus Rojo urged Edinson Cavani to quit Man United for Boca Juniors by promising to take him fishing. Now, earlier on this season, Solskjaer did say that Cavani was closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Manchester United. His father said Cavani's earlier on this season that Cavani is unhappy. He's not comfortable in England and he wants to leave. Reports in Argentina said prior to that Cavani's decided to leave Man United after one season. But he has made an impact since he's come in, in a lot of his games. His hold-up play has been good. His movement in and out of the box has been good. He's scored good goals. He's good at creating chances. But there has been some games where Cavani hasn't got enough service and he's looked isolated. We got him on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with the club with an option of a second year. Now, Harry Kane, he wants to leave Tottenham at the end of the season if Tottenham fail to qualify for the Champions League. It looks like now Tottenham aren't going to finish in the top 4. We're going to have to put an offer in of at least 120 million to convince Tottenham to offload him. Earlier on this season, it said that Harry Kane had dealt Tottenham a major blow because he refused to commit his future to Tottenham, and it said he was delaying his transfer decision until after the Euros. Daniel Levy, the Tottenham chairman, came out a few weeks ago and said that he's made his transfer decision regarding Harry Kane, and he says Tottenham will not sell Harry Kane to another Premier League club. Harry Kane is regarded as one of the best strikers in the world because he is a prolific goal scorer, obviously well Premier League proven. He's been at Tottenham around 17 years, so he's been a long-serving player. He's been in their senior squad since 2009. Harry Kane's got a contract with Tottenham until 2024. Back in 2018, Harry Kane signed a 6-year deal. Kane has won the Golden Boot a couple of times. He's 27 years of age, so he's highly experienced. He's had loan spells before with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. David Ornstein was talking about it earlier on this season. He said he spoke to people in football. He said Harry Kane wants to leave Tottenham because he's unhappy. He said he's committed to Tottenham whilst he's there, but he wants to win the biggest trophies and he's not experiencing this at Tottenham. I'd certainly take Harry Kane at Manchester United because he's a type of player that will assure his goals and he's still got a lot of development in him. And Erling Haaland, I'd certainly take him at Manchester United. Main explanations is because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows the player well. Solskjaer gave Erling Haaland his debut at just the age of 16 at Molde. So it'd be good to see Ole reunite with the player. Plus Erling Haaland's still very young. He's got a lot of development in him. And I presume we'd get longer out of Haaland than we would Harry Kane. Because Haaland's younger than Kane. And plus Haaland would assure us goals. Borussia Dortmund are demanding around 150 million. Reports from The Athletic recently said that Man United are one of the clubs that can afford him. But it recently said that Erling Haaland to Manchester United is off following Mino Raiola's roadshow. The Athletic said not so long ago that we culled our interest in Haaland after prioritising 2 deals. He says we want a right winger and a centre-half instead of Haaland. And he said the other week that we declined to meet Erling Haaland's agent Mino Raiola over discussing a possible deal for Haaland. Erling Haaland's agent Mino Raiola and his father Al Finch Haaland flew to England not so long ago and held talks with several Premier League clubs. The other week they held talks with Barcelona and Real Madrid. Borussia Dortmund CEO did recently say that Dortmund are planning next season with Haaland. Solskjaer did say in his press conference prior to the Brighton game that he played down talks of Man United chasing Haaland. He said Haaland do make his own mind up. A few weeks ago it said that Solskjaer kept calling Erling Haaland to persuade him to join Manchester United. He said earlier on this season he was following Erling Haaland's progress and he was keeping in touch with the player. Solskjaer did reveal how impressed he was with Haaland in his training when he was at Molde. But he made an admission saying that he struggled with bad knees at Molde, and back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. Haaland has a £68 million release clause, but it doesn't become active until next year. Dortmund paid just 17 million for Halland, and he's got a contract with them until 2024. So yeah, who should Man United striker be? But in general, there's a lot of players we are looking at. I'm expecting Man United to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window, and I've identified the areas where we need to strengthen up. I think we need a striker, we need a right winger, we need a defensive midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. Reports said not so long ago that Man United will spend big in the summer transfer window, but Solskjaer wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. I reckon Solskjaer needs at least £200 million if he's to get the players he wants to recommend in. Solskjaer did warn earlier on this season that we may not do business as usual due to the coronavirus pandemic. But I'm expecting Solskjaer to get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window, because obviously Woodward is standing by him. Woodward believes that Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward. He released a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward is backing him. And Woodward's come out several times to support Ole in general, even when we endured them very, very bad periods. And Woodward said towards the end of last year that I will back Solskjaer with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. Like I've mentioned before, our board have got a very soft stance on Ole, with him being a club legend. We've obviously got John Murtough, he's our director of football, and it was the right decision by the club getting a director of football in, and John Murtough knows the club inside out. And obviously we've got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director, and he knows the club through thick and thin because he endured 2 decades as a player for Man United. The summer transfer window will be Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. I can assure Solskjaer will be Man United manager in the summer transfer window. He'll be Man United manager next season, because we've already made it clear that Solskjaer will not be sacked even if we fail to win the Europa League. And I said Solskjaer does deserve at least another season at Manchester United, because he has made progress in certain aspects. Solskjaer needs to win a trophy at Manchester United. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. So if we fail to win the Europa League this season, that'll be exactly 4 years without a trophy. I think there's a very good chance we'll win the Europa League. Don't forget, Solskjaer said last month that winning trophies can be an ego thing. He said that in regards to some other managers and some other clubs. And he just basically said clubs like Man United, trophies no longer prove success. I've got to totally disagree with him in that aspect. And prior to the game against Tottenham, Jose Mourinho hit back at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for saying winning trophies can be an ego thing. Obviously, we know that Solskjaer's agreed a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. Some United fans, I presume, may agree with us giving him this new contract, but I presume some United fans will disagree with us giving him this new contract, because Ole's still got 1 year left on his current 3-year contract. I think Ole does deserve a new contract in some aspects, and maybe in some aspects he doesn't. I give you the news, didn't I, on Pau Torres yesterday. Now, it does say that we've been handed a boost in the transfer pursuit of Pau Torres, because supposedly we can sign Pau Torres for less than his 56 million release clause. It says Villarreal will accept around 43 million. Now, reports from Spain said earlier on this season that Pau Torres wanted to come to Man United. The Real Madrid president, Florentino Perez, was infuriated with Man United for entering the race because Real Madrid were in pole position to sign him. Do you think Pau Torres would go well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line? Don't really know much about him. I just know that he's been at Villarreal for a very long time. He's got a contract with them until 2024. There's been quite a few centre-halves on our agenda. It recently said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer drawn up a 6-man centre-back shortlist. The first 4 names are Jules Koundé, Konate, Raphael Varane and Pau Torres. Or I'd certainly take Raphael Varane at Manchester United. There's been good news coming out regarding him. It said earlier on this season that Real Madrid had set their asking price for Raphael Varane. It's between 51 to 59 million. The Spanish transfer expert Eduardo Inda said earlier on this season that Varane could be on his way to Man United in the summer because Raphael Varane's contract talks with Real Madrid have stalled. Raphael Varane's current contract with Madrid expires next year. But it said earlier on this season, didn't it, that Real Madrid are prepared to sell Raphael Varane on one condition. He must inform Real Madrid on his decision to leave. And back in 2018, Woodward was prepared to sanction a £100 million move for Raphael Varane. Raphael Varane has never played in the Premier League, but I can assure he would exceed expectations if he came to the Premier League and he'd replicate what he's been doing at Real Madrid. He's been at Real Madrid now around 10 years. He's made over 300 appearances and he's won 18 major honours. Real Madrid paid just €10 million for him from Lens. And they would complement each other very, very well, would Varane and Harry Maguire. Jules Koundé. Now, the last time I read up about that, he said that Sevilla are demanding 68 million for Jules Koundé. Fabrizio Romano, who's a reliable Italian journalist and close to Man United, he's spoken about. He said Sevilla's 68 million asking price is complicating a deal, but he said he's one of the most appreciated players on United's radar. Now, it said a few weeks ago that we'd been handed a boost in our bid to sign Jules Koundé, because it said that Sevilla had lowered their asking price to 50 million. Earlier on this season, it said we was reluctant to meet Jules Koundé's £68 million release clause, but his performances for Sevilla have been good. He's been at Sevilla almost 2 years. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux in the summer of 2019, and he's under contract with Sevilla until 2024. But yeah, in the summer transfer window, we're going to focus on the incomings and the outgoings. Quite a few players are going to leave Man United in the summer transfer window. Like I said, there's a good chance that Cavani will leave. A lot of United fans are saying that we need to sell Anthony Martial in the summer. Anthony Martial has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. The chances were there for him, but he didn't convert them. Solskjaer did say earlier on this season that he was backing Martial to rediscover his form, and he said he's been impressed with his work rate. If we sell Anthony Martial in the summer, I reckon we can get around 30 million for him. He's out with injury now. Solskjaer confirmed not so long ago it's very likely that Martial will be out for the remainder of the season. Martial sustained an injury whilst he was on international duty with France. I reckon Martial's had 2 good seasons. He was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal, and he was pretty good last season. He's been at the club over 5 years. I think it was last season Solskjaer giving that number 9 shirt. Mason Greenwood. Juan Mata I think there's a very good chance that we'll offload him in the summer transfer window. Because Juan Mata doesn't get in our team now. His current contract expires in June. We do have an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Towards the start of this season, Juan Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Solskjaer said earlier on this season he wasn't surprised that Juan Mata was linked with a move away from the club. I think he's had a good career at Manchester United though. He's been a long serving. He's been at the club now almost 7 years. We got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. Donny van de Beek, I think we should sell him in the summer transfer window. Main explanation is because he's not getting enough opportunities at Manchester United. If he was getting enough opportunities, then I'd be saying keep Donny van de Beek, because in general he's a very, very good player. You know, most of Donny van de Beek's appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. Man United are considering a Donny van de Beek swap deal. There has been talks of a Donny van de Beek and Adrian Rabiot swap deal. I think that would be a good swap deal for Man United. Ronald de Boer has actually backed Donny van de Beek to become a success at Old Trafford. And he said earlier on this season that Van de Beek still feels loved at the club despite his lack of game time. Mark Hughes was talking about Van de Beek not so long ago. Earlier on this season, it said that Van de Beek wanted to hold showdown talks with Ed Woodward over his future. And he said he wanted to leave Man United after 1 season due to his lack of game time. Solskjaer made an admission earlier on this season saying that Van de Beek is unhappy at the club due to his lack of game time, but promised him more game time at Man United. He was out of injury, wasn't he, for quite a while. ESPN said back in January that we rejected several loan offers for Van de Beek because we was reluctant to let him go. You know, we got him in a deal worth 40 million from Ajax last summer. And he's versatile, he can play in 3 different roles. Nemanja Matic, good chance we're going to offload him because he isn't one of our first choice midfielders. Paul Pogba, he could still leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. There again, he could stay potentially past the summer. Paul Pogba was absolutely superb yesterday in the 3-1 win against Tottenham. Obviously had a good chance. Should have got his name on the score sheet. Obviously got the assist for Mason Greenwood's goal and played a part in Edinson Cavani's disallowed goal. Obviously Paul Pogba played in more of an advanced role. That's where I like Paul Pogba in more of an advanced role, because that's where he's more effective. I'm not too keen on him in a deeper role. We've been getting the best out of Paul Pogba in recent months. Don't forget, he was out with a thigh injury for a while. He had an ankle injury at the first part of this season, and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. So he's sustained a few injuries now at Man United. So Man United could offer Paul Pogba a new contract. Solskjaer said earlier on this season he's hopeful that Paul Pogba will sign a new contract, and he revealed that we had been in contract negotiations with the player. Earlier on this season we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. Solskjaer said not so long ago that Pogba's future lies at Old Trafford, and our players would be devastated if the club decided to sell Paul Pogba in the summer transfer window. Now, he has had a long-running transfer saga. Barcelona are in for him. He did recently mention the 4 Barcelona players that Man United could accept in a Pogba swap deal. You know, Real Madrid, you know, they've been relentlessly linked with him. PSG have been in for him, and he's been linked with a return to Juventus. And I did mention that there's a good chance he'll go back to Juventus if he leaves us, because he did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined Man United, and Juventus have been keen on getting Paul Pogba in a swap deal. Said not so long ago that Juventus were willing to offer us Paulo Dybala in a swap deal for Pogba. And Fabrizio Romano did mention that Juventus are refusing to give up on re-signing Paul Pogba. But as it stands at the moment, Pogba's our most expensive signing, because we paid £89 million for him, and this is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. Damasio, don't forget, said though earlier on this season that Paul Pogba still wants to quit Man United. He's no intentions of extending his contract, and his preferred destination is Juventus. But I'd like him to stay potentially past the summer, because he brings creativity to the team and all that. And I like the way he sets himself free in some games as well, like he did against Tottenham yesterday. But we are far too defensive, disregarding Paul Pogba. Phil Jones, I also want him to leave, because he doesn't get in our 11, and he's been out of injury for over a year, and Jones has always been inconsistent. He's the only outfield player that's still here from Ferguson, and this is his 10th season at Man United. Axel Tuanzebe, I think we should offload him, because he doesn't get in our 11. Will we look to offload Diego Dalot permanently? He's out on loan with AC Milan at the moment. And De Gea, good chance we'll offload him in the summer transfer window, but there's a chance he'll also stay. It recently said that De Gea may leave on loan. He said not so long ago that De Gea had made his transfer decision. He's preparing to leave Manchester United. He said the other week that we're set to pay off his huge contract. He says we set the price for De Gea, it's 50 million. And there's a few clubs chasing him, AC Milan, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid and PSG. De Gea has like 2 years left on his current contract at Man United, and he's on £375,000 a week. I think it would be the right decision to sell him in the summer transfer window, because I think he's had his years now at Man United. He's been at the club 10 years, and I reckon he's had 8 good years out of the 10 years he's been with us. Dean Henderson's now our number 1 anyway. You know, Dean Henderson's done very, very well this season. You know, he's made good saves, he's kept a lot of clean sheets, his distribution's been good, and he's also made some good aerial claims. He really has. And Henderson was in goal yesterday against Tottenham, and he was in goal for the last 7 games in a row prior to the Granada game, because De Gea was in goal for the Granada game. But yeah, there's a lot of players that will stay in the summer transfer window, and I reckon there's a few players that have got long-term futures at Man United. But yeah, Solskjaer is the best manager since Ferguson, without a shadow of a doubt. You know, he's been Man United manager over 2 years now. Reflecting how long he's been at the football club, he's gained some managerial experience, he's learnt quite a bit on the job, and he's tried a few different elements. What I mean by that is he's, you know, rotate the squad a lot. He's giving the young players their chances. I like the way he's promoted the youth anyway. And he's tried different formations. I've told you my 2 biggest concerns about Ole is that he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. That doesn't mean he can't succeed at Man United though. I hope he succeeds, obviously. And his decision making, because in a lot of his games at Man United he's been tactically naive. But there's been some games where he has showed tactical flexibility, but he's got to show that persistently. I think now we're going to finish second this season, reflecting on that 3-1 win against Tottenham. I don't think a second place finish is good enough though without the Europa League. If we win the Europa League and finish second, I'll turn around and say that represents a good season for Man United, and that gives us something to build on going on into next season. Next season will be Solskjaer's third full season at Manchester United. This is his second full season at the moment. We've got to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in quite a lot of aspects though. You know, we are unbeaten away from home in the Premier League in over a year. We're unbeaten in our last 23 Premier League away games, reflecting on that win against Tottenham. We're more or less into the Europa League semi-final. That'll be 5 semi-finals under Ole. Solskjaer got us to the FA Cup quarter-final this season. Got us to the EFL Cup semi-final. Did well last season in his first full season. Guided us to 3 semi-finals. Got us qualification for the Champions League and got us a third place finish. He's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in, and he's also made good signings. Ole's spent almost 300 million as Manchester United manager. And we've enjoyed very good periods under him where we have seen consistency, and in some of them good periods he's got the best out of the team. We was 14 games unbeaten before Leicester beat us in the FA Cup quarter-final. We went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions last season. But yeah, there's still a lot of United fans that have been demanding Ole out, and they've obviously got main explanations why they want him out. And reflects on the win against Tottenham, they'll be still demanding him out, but there's still some Man United fans that are Ole in that believe he needs more time. You know, the main explanation is still Man United manager is because he is a club legend. Disregarding being a club legend, I can almost assure he wouldn't have been here because we've enjoyed bad periods under him where you can say he was lucky not to be sacked. So anyway guys, that's everything to update for today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.